are the inventors, sons of the prodigal. Bigger than just check 1, 2 in it. Some slip away from your view. We stay stuck in your face inside follicles. And like meat and fungo, we stuffed in the jungle. Dog eat dog with no veg. We in the know without a...
Welcome to another edition of Let the Brother Speak. I'm Big C, the chef. And we are back with another week of healing, therapy. Brothers, getting it in. How y'all feeling tonight?
Feeling all right, man.
Feeling pretty good.
Feeling real good tonight, man.
I will.
We got a lot of stuff to get into tonight.
Yeah, we sorry we missed a week last week, but again, we have lives. So so how was you all's last 2 weeks? Don't all start at once.
Entertaining. It was very much entertaining. You know, I can laugh and say, you know, when somebody thinks that they're making your life miserable, they actually gave you a chance to sit back and enjoy life and intermingle with real people other than your coworkers. Because when you're stuck at work pretty much every day, you don't see anybody but your coworkers. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like I felt like a mother that's stuck in a house with the kids. You know, you see your kids all day long. You're just happy to see anybody. The mailman, like the dog seeing fire trucks and mail people. I was like, man, I was happy to see people.
Some adult.
I was just happy to be out and got a chance to be amongst the people of the world for once.
Cool.
Man, I'll say, man, life been lifing. Life been lifing, man. But he's keep putting people around me to keep my head above water. So I see his work. But yeah, just life is I don't know if God got my message. I asked him not to sign me up for the his warrior class this year, but he said, man, I think he put me on now. Yeah. So I'm gonna get the hang of it, but life right now.
It's been all well on my end. For starters, God did get your message. He always give it. He gonna move how he want to move.
There you go.
But it's been all well been on my end. I've been getting a bunch of stuff done. I've been able to enjoy a little of a summer. Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun.
At least you having a summer.
Oh yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to.
Summer? I thought Texas is summer all year long.
Well,
now we just preheating right now.
Speaking.
It's the preheat.
Yeah, we just preheating right now.
Preheating up right there.
Yeah. Right.
That July, August gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's why I say we just preheating.
Crazy. Yeah. I had I guess you would say impactful and insightful week. I think I told y'all I went on a trip with my doctoral program, study abroad trip to Argentina. I felt like I worked every day, but I also learned something every day, if that makes sense. We got a chance to participate in a panel/town hall meeting where students were using their receptive and expressive language because they were like in their 4th year of English. So they was learning to speak English, and they asked us a lot of profound questions. Some of the things that came up was the election. Some of the things that came up because they're going through some things with their election in Argentina right now as well. School shootings came up because they don't really have those there. And something that we talk about, mental wellness came up. And these were students, 19th grade asking these questions. Man, so that was impactful to see those students to be able to do that. And then got a chance to learn a little bit of their history. And they've had some genocides as recent of the late 70s, early 80s. About 30,000 people got abducted, and Lord knows what happened to them. And to see those people, to know about their history, but also still have pride in their country and a sense of purpose of who they are, making sure they connected to their lineage. I mean, it was real profound, bro. Real profound. So
I bet they had a lot of questions about as far as school shootings and stuff like that, because they can't fathom that, right?
Yeah, they don't experience that,
right.
From that perspective. There wasn't a lot of them. It's just one question, and then all of us got a chance to kind of expound on that point, and they really just sat there and took that information in. And then just to be able to see another culture, how they do things, they're really about collectivism there. Everything is pretty much subsidized. We ran a building, I say like 4-story building, right? Downtown, probably look like downtown Dallas or New York or something, because everybody stays kind of like on top of each other.
Okay.
I was like, how much does teachers make here? We was asking. It's about pretty much about $13,000 a year, in USD money. Like, okay. And they was like, well, there's got to be an offset somewhere. Something has to be happening. You look at their public transportation, it's like a quarter.
Right.
You look at their food. I had a plate probably big as this table, $25. T-bone steaks, everything, $25. Then I said, just give me a ballpark figure. How much is this, the light bill here? 4 stories, big building, $200. I was like, I pay more than that for my house right now.
Right.
Mhm.
So
That,
that's the
that
offset.
ain't mine on a good month.
Look, that ain't even a summer light bill.
Right.
That too.
That's what I'm saying, right? And so
Man.
they're in some turmoil now because new government has come in and they want to get rid of those subsidies. So it's their fight. They're like,
Yeah, they're not understanding it.
no, they not. So everywhere you go, something going on. And you look at it from our perspective. Again, that experience and not comparing type thing really came to the forefront there because they're making a living off of that. But there are some other ways that they're doing it. So really cool and profound week, man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, it's just been a week. Been working. This past weekend, I was my brother came into town and we were going to the Flashback Funk Fest over there at Toyota Music Factory, and but then he ended up getting sick and ended up having to get rushed to the hospital. So just keep him in your prayers. He's doing fine now. They wanted to keep him a couple of days. He's supposed to have been gone. He's supposed to have been back home today, but they wanted to keep him a couple of days. So he'll be leaving tomorrow though.
Okay.
He'll be going home tomorrow. So, but other than that, like as you say, life is life.
Life is just life.
Just living.
It's life.
Yeah. So, but so anyway, let's do that. Let's get into that 2-word check-in, man.
All right, man. So I'm glad you asked us how our week was going, man. So it pretty much helps us lead right into this, man. 2-word check-in. And if you want to elaborate on your 2 words, or if it's just down to 1 word, because mine is 2, but it's definitely more like 1. Give them a little feedback. I'll start it off. My 2-word check-in, I'll say is preservation and a numbness. And I'll say a numbness, and this is what I was talking about earlier before we went on the air. I think this numbness was a feeling, and I'm glad some friends even told me, they said, well, it's because the stuff you're going through and why life is life, and it's because you ain't really like leaned on God in it. So that numbness is me feeling that disconnect, and now I gotta get back to my roots. And I've always been a person that like, man, I don't like to ask when things are bad. I like to pride myself on when they're good. Let my good faith run into my bad. Like, God, I ain't gotta call you because I know you're gonna do this. But the numbness feeling really helped me realize that, man, I've been a little bit disconnected from them, and it's not intentional. But like, when you're getting out of, say, you work out all the time, my muscles a little weak. I ain't been in the gym with them like I normally am with the big dogs. So yeah, man. So I'm preserving myself right now to make sure I get that connection back right. The Wi-Fi ain't Wi-Fi right now, and that's on me though, and I acknowledge that. So that's my check-in. But I'm all right though.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I can dig it. As for myself, my 2 words is perseverance. And I got 1 word.
Come on,
I got 1 word.
You got 1.
And I say perseverance because as the lingo is going right now, life is lifing. But I ain't shying away. I'm chin up, chest out. I'm facing it. And I'm going through it to get to it.
Going through it to get to it. I like that, bro.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I ain't shying away at all. I'm gonna make it to the other side.
You might need to coin that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might need to coin that one right there.
Yeah.
I guess it's me. I'm gonna say believe and achieve. There's a lot of times where we, and especially Black men in general, but you know, I know I have a tendency not really to doubt myself, but I'm always having to prove my beliefs.
Mm.
You know, I'm not a young guy, but I'm not old either. And I don't mind. I'm 53 years old and I'll be able to retire at 53 years old. And people are saying, well, why would you do that? What are you going to do? Aren't you? I said, I realized that I have other skill sets and I have to believe in my strengths more than anybody else's disbelief. Right. So it's causing me to have to say, okay, you know what you are capable of. You know what you can do. Now achieve them.
Yeah.
Achieve them.
Yeah.
My employer is essentially telling me, hey, we're going to pay you this amount of dollars if you retire. And that'll be a monthly payment. Now, I know that that's not going to afford me anything. The best way to explain it is you work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life to live on 40% of your income when you retire.
Wow. Man. Oh no.
That's kind of saddening when you start thinking about that.
Wow.
But I said, there's somebody else out there that says, I see your skills and I'm willing to pay you almost exactly what your employer is paying you right now on a 40-hour paycheck. And they're saying that they're going to pay me pretty much 40% of what I'm making to leave. So I walk away, I'm making more money than if I stay with these people.
You gotta take advantage.
So my thought is
opportunities.
Believe in the opportunities and stop waiting for stuff to happen because them windows don't open very long. It's like a passing lane in the NFL. You don't have but a split second before the arms come up.
Yeah, it's like somebody told me every time a door opens, it automatically is gonna get closed. Even if you open the door for your woman, it's going. Your nature is to close it back. You know what I'm saying? It's automatically gonna close. Like that's the nature of the door. So it's not open long. So absolutely, man. All of y'all check-in is pretty cool. I forgot what mine was, so I'm gonna go with a different one. I guess it would be transition and faith. Transition because not necessarily at a crossroads, but I'm at a point where I got some leverage in some of the things that I'm doing in my life, whether it's new business that I'm starting, whether that's presenting from a lot of different conferences as it relates to education and things of that nature. And when those things and opportunities start coming up, you know something is about to happen that you're going to get attacked, you know, in some shape, form, or fashion. Sometimes it's, you know, outside the house. Sometimes it's inside the house, wherever it comes from. So I got to have the faith, you know, to persevere, as you all have said, and push through it. And I'm always one of those people that, you know, put my chips on myself. But what I also got to make sure that I'm doing is just as much putting those chips in God's corner as well. Because sometimes we lean to our own understanding, pushing through and things of that nature, right? And don't acknowledge Him in all our ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A lot of us are like, it's all about me, you know, and pushing forward. And it is, you know, in some context. But I ain't wake up this morning by myself, right?
Right.
I wasn't walking by myself. My heart ain't beating because it's me.
Right.
It's something greater and it's something more divine, and there's a better purpose, you know. So again, I'll say transition and faith. So,
hey man, just say my name next time you talking about me. Hey, when it hit too hard, man, hey, just at me, bro. Just say you talking about me, bro. You all in my life.
Say
right
man,
now.
say out.
He talking about me. That's who he talking about me, y'all. He just didn't want to say my name. I respect it though.
Say just at me.
Man, just at me,
just
bro.
at me.
Well, mine is I really honestly I don't even have one, but let me see if I can come up with shaking and baking.
Come on in.
Okay.
Shaking and baking. Ducking and dodging, all of that. So
I know what made him say that hat he got on.
All right.
Make sure he clips so they can see that hat. That would make me. He got them phrases. He got them phrases right now.
well, yeah. But it's just been a lot going on, and and I'm just trying to persevere through it all, push through it, and like I said before, it's all leading to that one goal. I got a whole nother month to go, but it's leading to that vacation. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. So that's it. That's all I got. So, but yeah. So that's a good deal. That's a good deal.
Check-in.
2-word check-in.
The
I got you
2-word
there.
check-in.
Mhm.
All right.
Just snap it out.
So we got going on this week. Did y'all watch the debate?
I took the highlights because I knew I could not stand to listen to an hour of Donald Trump lie consistently. So what I did is I listened to the highlights and listened to some of the outtakes from different venues.
Okay.
So I realized Donald Trump started a new work thing. First, we had blue collar jobs. That's people that do manufacturing and service industry. You have white collar jobs, which is more financial and the things. Then we have black jobs that supposedly Latinos are taking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's a black job? Because first it was, all black people know how to do is play sports and be entertainers. So are they taking sports and entertainment from us? Or is it that you're trying to say that the jobs that nobody else wants to do are the black jobs? And I was highly offended by it because it reminded me of a time when I was at the airport going to pick up a friend. And this guy said, I see you brought your N-word friend to come help you out. I turned around. He said, you know I'm talking to you, N-word again. I turned around. I'm looking like, who is he talking about? So he says, what's there something wrong with you? He said, I'm talking to you. And I said, oh, you talking to me? And he's like, yeah, N-word again. I said, oh. I said, when I grew up, that word meant an ignorant person. So I was looking for your mama. And he came for me. I guess he didn't realize I was a martial artist. Took him down in about 10 seconds. And after that, it was now trying to get out of there so I could not get arrested. But I think it taught him an important lesson. There's a difference between a black man and the N-word. I'm educated. I'm well educated. Not as well educated as I could be, but I'm well educated. And I'm not going to have you talk to me and say that I'm an ignorant person or try to use a derogatory term that you feel as though you're comfortable with saying. So
personally, I think you let him get away with it too many times because the first time he would have caught this Timberland.
Needless to say, it's okay, once again, we're getting these little dog whistle things and people are getting a little comfortable with trying to say that we're lesser than. One thing I've learned is almost everything that you got in this country that's made it convenient for you was created by a black person. Thank you. Everything that you
don't care about that.
Everything that you take for granted, like the Pythagorean theorem, was created by a black man. Some of the logic that you're using right now was created by black people. The way that you got to the moon was through black people. So stop thinking that we're lesser than. They
don't care about that kind of stuff.
I understand that, and that's why I said it got to be a little offensive to me. But then, of course, the things that he took credit for that I didn't particularly care for. But then after the debate, which I think really got me, was they got rid of the Chevron Act, right? What that does is allows the government, Congress, to pass a bill and then maybe create a government agency that uses people that have more insight to it, experts, to say, hey, you know what? it's kind of vague the way they explained it, but this, based upon what we see, we can interpret it to this and have it work best for the general public, not always for businesses and the like.
Mhm.
That's where OSHA comes in, FDA comes in, EPA comes in, those type of regulatory entities. What they've done is said, no, they have no power. So now companies like Nestle can turn around and grab dirty water, filter it out just to get not the impurities, but the big sediment that you see in it out, and be like, okay, that's drinking water. And there's nothing you can say. They can say filtered. I can run water through a coffee filter. It doesn't mean that I got any of the impurities out.
Right.
I just got the big clumps of debris out.
Mm-hmm.
So that now, by statement, they're not lying. If somebody wants to sell tainted meat, there's nothing that the USDA can say about it, because they just have to fight it.
Yeah.
And it's these things that are making me say, we need to vote. We need to vote. We need to take this seriously. We need to really look at what's going on. And then I found out homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Cops can now arrest you for being homeless. And then they just did something today, and I can't remember what it was, but it's like they're setting it. Oh, what it is? They gave the president immunity. So that means they were
gave
trying.
What president immunity?
They gave
Any president
but Trump did. The Supreme Court ruled that he had immunity
over the January 6th stuff.
That and him appealing the election,
Which now means that if Biden wanted to be a butthole, he could say, hey, you know what? I think Donald Trump is a threat to us as a people, and have SEAL Team 6 take him out. And there's nothing we can do, even if you wanted to vote for him. Now, it would cause a whole ruckus, but honestly, you made this man a king. You made him an authoritarian now. So now we have no control as people. We got to get Congress to start impeaching some of these Supreme Court justices. We got to get them to get these people out of there. If you're being bought by corporate America, because that was the other thing.
They definitely need to get Uncle Ruckus out of there.
With that Chevron Act, when they overturned that, now it makes it hard for the National Labor Board to be, they can be fair and impartial, but now employers don't have to recognize unions.
Yeah.
They don't have to. Which means your employer, if you're a union, they can say, you know what, we don't recognize them anymore, and we're going to pay you what we want to pay you. And there's nothing you can do.
I mean, how's it? I get it. I understand it. Because in my perspective, I feel like they're the employer. It's their company. They should be able to do what they want to do with it.
So how do you feel about what former President Trump said about black job?
When I didn't feel, I didn't get in my feelings about it. I actually watched it, and I didn't let the news or reels or media clips play on my emotions. Because that all stemmed from a question that came up of, what are you doing for black people? That's where it came from.
Absolutely.
So when he started speaking of black jobs, so to say, they were in the mix talking about what are we doing for black people.
Well, I can tell you what he did for black people. Nothing. He got rid of a lot of the money that he was sending to HBCUs, and when Charlottesville happened, to change the optics, like he just took from people. Now you're just sitting there talking about being a racist. Let me throw 300 million at him. 300 million, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Black colleges and universities over a 10-year period were used to getting 3 billion.
Yeah, I'll chime in. I think it's disingenuous, I would say that, use that word, to say that, and it's hard for me to say this, but that he did nothing for black people, because everybody got stimulus checks. So that helps stimulate the economy in some shape, form, or fashion. So when we talk,
Trump, right?
Yeah, when we talk, I just want to be truthful and factual, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Also, as you said, They're typically used to getting 3 billion, but there was 300 million. That did happen. So he can use that as that. And I'm not a voter for Trump or against or anything of that nature. I actually watched it as well. Didn't get to see it on the day, but I kind of reviewed most of it today because I happen to be off. I guess a couple of things I want to kind of touch on that we hit up in there. The first thing, like Mr. Dave was saying, is that question kind of stemmed like from where, what were you doing? What will you be doing for Black people, right? And nobody's kind of hit on this yet. President Biden did not look like he had all his faculties there.
Not at all.
He kept tripping over stuff. And it was kind of like a win by default, in my opinion, for Trump when you watched it, right? Just because he could utter sentences, incomplete thoughts. He won, though. He won the debate, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Are Trump's thoughts really complete?
Well,
for real.
They were more complete.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Biden.
Though. I get what
I
you're
think it's
saying.
because he's more unorthodox. So.
No, if you watch it, you will see. I mean, we start closing our eyes. We start missing our words, stuttering.
When I say unorthodox, I just mean like President Trump doesn't talk like the normal politician.
Because, he doesn't, and he doesn't.
He's more like a 12. He's more like a kindergartner.
Not a kindergartner.
The information is disjointed.
He's not as contained or preserved as he.
But no.
Because like he doesn't necessarily need all the financial support as others, so he's a little bit more outspoken to say at times.
He's not presidential,
and I'm not against that because you like the feeling somebody that can't get both.
Yeah,
ahead, brother.
I'm gonna go back also to, I think you mentioned a little bit earlier about, Black people created this, created that, things of that nature. One thing I want to employ to the community is. Creation is nothing without ownership. I'm gonna say that again. Creation is nothing without ownership, right? Look at it from this perspective, and all of you all work for different companies. You can have an ideal at GM or Nestle, Apple, things of that nature. Guess what? That idea belongs to them because you had that in their presence and in their company. And what I think that we have to get a little bit more savvy with is stop giving people all our good ideas. Right. Another thing, when it comes to voting, I never really knew how to articulate this, but I think I know how to articulate this a little bit better now. So I never spoke on this. In my opinion, to a certain extent, voting does not matter. This is why.
That part.
This is why I said it doesn't. Because we have two recent incidents since every one of us has been alive where someone has won the populist vote
and lost the
electoral college.
Who is the electoral college? It's always been my question.
Who is that, right? And when we send these people to office, which is, Mike talk about this all the time, these are our local politicians, the ones here in the city and state and things of that nature. They supposed to vote in our best interest. And when we elect someone from the populace, it doesn't happen sometimes, which then tells me there's a monkey wrench in the game, right?
Right.
So therefore, somebody can get to these people and say X, Y, Z. So I'm going to add this caveat to it. Voting doesn't matter to a certain extent, all right? But we need to know those things, and the way we influence the vote that we have is going back to my other idea, is that we have to have our own entity, and we have to influence it. There's a couple of different levels when you're talking about politics. Yeah, there's the voting, but there's the other side is that you got to have the money to get those people in office to do what you want them to do. Right.
Yeah.
So therefore, that comes the power with it. Right. And other entities understand that. And sometimes, again, we're playing a game. We're in the game and not knowing where we're playing or what we are playing or know the rules or engagement and things of that nature. Right. And if you don't know the rules and engagement, then you're gonna get treated like you got treated, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah. And here it is as well. Once you know the rules of engagement, and you can choose to participate or not, right?
Right.
In your participation of that, the way you choose to participate, you got to know it's going to affect your life, your family's life, and your community's life, right? So you need to go in this thing with a plan and just not participate.
We are your electoral college. We are.
I'm gonna tell you a little history of the electoral college because I'm gonna help some people that don't understand it.
Oh yeah, I don't. Please.
So
Sorry, Miguel.
what it all came down to is they knew that they could not get all these popular votes to get together, so they had districts. So they have people that equate to a certain populace, and that person voted based upon that district. So let's say Trump won your district, but Biden won his district. Trump barely won my district, but lost severely on his. Whether you got 2 and 2, we are wash. Now, if Chris's district was the one district that, let's say, RFK Jr. won it, guess what? It would be a wash. We would just basically say there's no winner, and they just put in their individual votes, and it would go to the next one. So it wouldn't technically win either. But if his district gave it to one person or the other, then it would all go to one. Some states have it where all goes to one person. Some of them split it up. So that's how the Electoral College came about. Now, the goofy math about it is Texas is a big state. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of Electoral College votes. But then you have smaller states. Well, it may be big, but they still have less population, but they got a lot of electoral power because they have a lot of votes with that small thing, like Wyoming. Wyoming may have 11. We may have 35. But because Wyoming has less people, them 11 people now have more weight to them than our 35 do, unless it all goes to one person, which most states have gone that way, where that person, whoever wins the popular vote, gets all their votes, gets all their Electoral College votes.
So I'm going to try and button this up on the point of President Trump talking about black jobs. And there's a couple of things that I think kind of link, and I'm glad some of the stuff Appleberry said. The first thing, you realize there's a very thin line between racism and being born with privilege. And I won't say that's my issue because it's not Trump's fault he's born rich. So many people, and it's not just him. It's really with a lot of politicians stuff. Like some of them you might say are racist, but then we also have to realize some of these people are so disconnected from it. It's the same way how we say we want cops from the community to serve the same community. Like
Absolutely.
Trump said his first loan was from his father, and it was $1 million. Some of us, our first loan was for a car, and we were lucky if we got 15 to 25. So like there's certain things that he's just not caveat to. And I think we have to realize that there's such a disconnect between us based on how much money we make. And I think something like that should become more understanding as far as how we elect politicians and how we actually govern this country, because you can't govern the country if we are not trying to connect each group. And it doesn't mean that I have to go through everybody's struggle, but it does mean we have to have non-biased people in leadership positions that understand, hey, I understand what these people need and I understand what these people need. And then compromising is really giving up what you can live without, but it's not giving up yourself. It's things you can live without, but not giving up yourself. So that's one thing. And then this whole idea of the black jobs, if you really think about it, every race has technically jobs on every level. If we talk about on the lower level, let's say blue collar work. Let's be honest. If you want construction done, you might get a Hispanic. If you want plumbing done, you might get somebody white. And then, black, we have ours. Now, if you go a little bit high, let's say we go rich folk. White person might be your lawyer. A Jew might be your financier, banker. But then when you get to black people, it might be your athlete or something. But Don't get me wrong, we have people breaking in through those other roles. So I would say rather than get offended at what Trump said, how about we change the image of what represents us at each level of those jobs and careers?
Mhm.
Because it's the same way we say, hey, we all know what you see on TV isn't everything. Well, the same way we know everybody ain't Lil Wayne, we know everybody ain't LeBron James, but there can be some Rich Pauls. We can have some lawyers. So rather than get offended by what they say, like how you try and say you make somebody look stupid when they lying on you. Let's just make these folks look stupid when he say, well, black job. Well, what do you mean? Because what if we change the number to black principals? What if there's more black principals than there are, say, white principals? What if there's more black teachers than there are black prisoners? So what he said, yes, it can be offensive depending on how you choose to look at it. But then also with choosing to look at it, also choose to look at ourselves, but like, man, let's just change the category of what are black jobs.
I'm just
Get your game up.
keep going on this, but I'm gonna say this: offense without action don't mean nothing to me. Like if you're gonna take offense to something, do something about
You gotta
it.
do something better.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't get offended by a black job because I'm gonna be honest with you. The job I work now, like I don't have a degree yet, but compared to other people from my community or say who I went to school with, I'm doing well for myself. Like if I'm going just from my lineage, I'm the first homeowner. So like when they say black job, I can't be offended. Not because I ain't grow up struggling, but well, I don't fit your category.
I'm gonna show you.
Because I got full benefits. I have a family I'm actually able to take care of and provide for, though there are hard times. So I'm like, just make them look stupid. If you feel he meant something offensive, make it to where it don't fit you or your people. And it doesn't take away from them. But a lot of times we sit around and we, not saying us, but a lot of times we'll sit around in anger, and I'm like, we wasted so much time on anger when we could have had action. So that's just my thing. Like, don't let him saying that. Just prove him wrong.
Him saying that don't mean nothing to me, or him nobody saying that don't mean nothing to me.
I like how you said that.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you an example. Saturday, I went to a builders convention. It was a black builders convention. I was in an auditorium. I was in a room with maybe 75 to 100 black builders, black land developers, black community developers. All the way from the event venue was black owned. Just the whole nine, to the caterer, to the people taking care of the servers, everything was black. And I say it don't mean nothing to me, because I feel like if you know it costs a little extra to get some more gravy on your potatoes, go get your game up so you can get some more gravy on your potatoes.
Look, I'll give you a perfect example. I get my daughter for the summers. So majority of the time she lives with her mom, and she lives in another state. I know how I grew up, and I know my daughter has been raised different. And then let's say I was a little rough around the edges. So me and my daughter play fighting one day. And my daughter throw 2 punches, and on the third one she say tickle dad. I said my baby ain't got that dog in her, so the school y'all mess with her, I gotta come and act the fool because my baby ain't got that dog in it. And then I thought about it. I said, why I'm acting this way? Because my daughter don't have this little thing that I had when I grew up. I should be happy that my daughter don't have to feel like she got to fight or be protected. Like sometimes change. We like our little flavor in our community and stuff. But I said, no, that means my daughter got a real nice privileged lifestyle, and it ain't the top rich, but my daughter has a safer lifestyle now, and I should embrace that rather than be like, dang, I shouldn't want you to have to go through the struggles or do certain things or have certain skill sets at a younger age. You should just really worried about living in your fantasy land and your fairy tale of having just
your environment.
Let her be a kid.
And then I was like, man, that's why I said, look, you know what? I realized my baby ain't got that dog in it. So if y'all mess with it at the school, I'm acting the fool because my baby ain't like that. So I'm acting the fool because y'all mess with my baby because my baby don't know that side.
Yeah, embrace it. Because
Yeah,
that side is more of a survivalist side.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So she ain't got to do that.
So now, like I say, when Trump says something about black jobs or whatever he was intending to say, understand that it possibly didn't come from, and you don't know, but you can only take what a person say. You don't know what's really going on in their mind. So take it as either one, that man may not be racist. He could be racist, or this man was just privileged and he's just disconnected from understanding that we might take offense to that. He don't know. His first loan was $1 million.
Well,
Yeah.
I always say this.
He had 2 commas in his first loan. We ain't even seen 2 commas yet. Come on.
My statement when I it's not a judgment of a person, but I always say you can tell a person's who a person is by the top 5 people they hang around. Right? So his history shows that he was racist based upon his housing getting sued. He got sued for his housing. We have the Central Park 5, where he put out a full-page ad talking about they should be hung or whatever of that nature. Then you find out that he's hanging around white nationalists. So you can paint all the stripes you want to on a donkey, it don't make it a zebra.
but if you feel you've seen enough to where you believe that man might be racist, that's fine. My biggest thing is when based on what he said, don't fit the category of whatever you think a black job is. Like, let's say you work at Walmart or something low end. Let's just not fit that category.
Oh no. Like I said, I don't. And then my thing is this: I don't judge anything. My thought is, for instance, we in Maryland, we have crab cakes.
And they're good too.
There are plenty. They got places down in New Orleans that also do it in southern Louisiana that will pick the crab meat out of these crabs. Now there are tons of places that will hire to have you picking this meat out of it. Processing this meat. Nobody wants them, so we end up having to get people to come on work visas to do this. It's a well-known fact. Nobody wants to do that job. Nobody wants to be out here in Texas working on roofs at 100 degrees, right? It's a great paying job, but we know the average person we know ain't gonna be up there on no roof.
I was on the roof yesterday.
As I said,
yeah.
I did heating and air conditioning. I moved to Texas and I went up in the attic. 15 minutes, it looked like I just jumped in a pool.
Man, I went up in mine the other day.
15 minutes, it looked like I just jumped in the pool, sweating. So I know that there are certain people that will say, hey, I'll do this for the money. And then there's certain people who are like, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And I commend those people. You look at sanitation jobs and things like that. Nobody wants to clean nobody's toilet, being honest. But, there's people that's unfortunately where their education and skill set has. So that starts to lead to, if you consider that a black job, those are black jobs then my thing is this: what are we doing to hold our politicians accountable to educating our people within the inner cities and places where we are living? Because we're not doing our jobs. We're not voting for the right people. We're not doing what we need to do. And that's why I got offended, because it's like that now says that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Hold these people accountable.
But as you said with voting, I think we talked about this last time. If you don't like Biden or you don't like Trump,
there's always other parties.
There are. Like we go off of, like, I haven't watched the debate in its entirety yet, but one thing you can do, because you look at everything else on your phone when you're trying to find out if your man cheating or if XYZ talking about you, if somebody's sharing your post, you can easily go look up these other party candidates. And if you don't like the A or B, there's a C, D, E, F, G.
And that's why I said, I really honestly.
So I just really don't get that. If you're offering me, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna cut you off, but if you're offering me rat poison, if you're always offering me rat poison and food poisoning, and I keep complaining that both of them make me sick, well, C had plant-based food products. D was all vegan selections. You had all these other choices, but you kept going with what you seen on TV.
And that's why.
I know when you go in there and vote, unless you haven't voted, when you go in there and vote, there's literally more than 2 candidates up there for a presidential race.
And that's why I always said that we needed to go back to what we were doing in the early 90s, where you had every viable presidential. Not saying, oh, they have to have 3%. Are they getting enough following, even if it's at 1%? Are they getting enough following to say, hey, they should be up on that stage?
I don't know why it's just between the Republic. Like, no,
because they got it. They got
all the candidates.
They got to get
at
like
least one candidate should be up from each party, or at least the top. At least there should be 4 to 5 candidates up. One representing each party.
Yeah, but see, the problem
debate.
is that the national board that handles it says there's a litmus test that you have to have 5%. That's why the other the parties like the Libertarian and the Green Party can't get up because they can only get 3%.
They'll never be able to get more 5% because you're not giving them the exposure. So that's why I believe it'll go down to the voters.
Well, you know,
I just have to start voting differently to get these people in that space. The same
why don't
way
those parties just start having their own debate?
That could be
because anybody can go live.
Yeah, I would say
that's a good.
That's a possibility.
If they can't get into the
that's a real good idea.
into the full presidential debate, why don't the Green Party, the Tea Party, the Libertarians, the Independents, why don't they have their own debate?
Hey,
hold on.
Well, maybe we should.
Hold on, right quick.
We had a whole pandemic versus.
Why don't we sponsor them?
That's what I just said.
Remember during the pandemic, we had the whole verses with music.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we didn't heard
Exactly
Biden and Trump. Look, we gonna have a verse.
That's the idea. That's the move.
Hey,
that is the move.
$1 million idea.
That's
right
the
there.
move right there.
Let's have a versus with these other candidates.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
And Kanye can even bring his party. What did he call his party?
We ain't inviting Kanye. We ain't inviting Kanye.
Look,
I'm still mad at the 3 people that voted for him during the last election.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish. It might be a new candidate want to run under the birthday, because I think he called his party the birthday party. So it might
birthday
be
party.
Yeah, it was.
He called it a birthday party. That's what he called.
I think it was something about.
I'm gonna start a new party for us old people. Call it the retirement party.
Yeah. He created a whole nother party.
Yeah, you're joking, but man, that would be a good idea. Like that would be a way that you can break into the politics from a different point of view, a different vantage point, and sponsoring something like that.
See if they could even put it Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we did with the music.
And also, we could possibly bring some of these candidates. I know people that on the ballot, get them right here on the show. Tell them about.
If not us, I got a person.
Let them tell us about,
Club Shake Shake.
what is their vision for the country and things of that nature. I've seen plenty of people that put themselves on the ballot and they're now president candidates, if that makes sense. Sometimes there's some people do that to add it to their resume and stuff like that. But I think that's a novel idea, man. Like from that perspective, there's a lot of things that come out of conversation, but this is really a good idea, y'all. Good idea.
We are in media.
You might see that in the future, and we might not get credit for it, but we might see that in the future now.
Well, we're gonna time stamp that right now. We're gonna make sure that ownership is on there.
You better put that 803 trademark on the bottom.
Central Time.
Yeah.
July 1st,
when you run this, just put that copyright at the bottom of it.
Right.
At the bottom of that one, because that's a really good idea, man. Good discussion, brothers. Good discussion, man.
Yeah, great discussion.
You know what? We got one more. Now, Deshaun had something in the chat.
Yeah.
I think we just covered it.
I just listened to it, so I just laughed.
I haven't really listened to it yet, but
you haven't?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna listen to it after the show. We can't play it on here, but I'm gonna listen to it. But it's
a new song by Plies.
Plies song.
Shout out to Plies.
Convicted Felon.
That is correct.
So let's get into it real quick.
Basically, what he's talking about is being a convicted felon hinders and stops a lot of Black people from doing what they need to do and living where they need to live, and joining certain organizations and entities that they attempt to join. But now that we have Trump as a convicted felon, they want to bend the rules and sweep it under the rug like the same rules doesn't apply. I like the song and I like the ideal of the song, not as a Trump hate or anything negative or derogatory towards Trump, because I mean he got the juice. He's just exercising it. the ideal is what was more impactful for me. The ideal of exposing the double standard. He actually spoke up and spoke out about what's going on and wasn't scared of, I guess, his record label or the public or anybody talking bad about him. He wasn't scared about being canceled,
Right.
for lack of a better term.
Well, I mean,
You can't cancel Plies anyway.
I agree.
You can't cancel him if you wanted to.
I agree with what he's saying. It's for years we've been held accountable to our faults. Even if we've made amends for them, somehow we don't get the full welcome back to society thing. Whereas in oh, you're a convicted felon, you can't get a job, you can't get a job that's going to pay you anything, or if you do get a job that does pay something, it's because you now have turned around and created your own business, because they can't stop you from creating your own business. You can't move into a neighborhood because they want to look at your background and say, oh, well, you're a convicted felon, so we can't do this. There's some businesses, well, like insurance and stuff like that. They won't sell you homeowners insurance in certain cases if you had any fraud in your thing. Wow. And every state requires that you have at least car insurance, and most of them want to look at your credit, right? Well,
let me add something to that right quick, and I'm gonna let you keep going. Also, on these jobs right now, they're looking at your credit report, especially if you're going in any part of financing, handling budgets, to see if you are trustworthy enough by your credit report to do this job.
What?
And that's why I said, I honestly think it's illegal if a state requires you to have car insurance. It should be illegal that they even look at your credit. I mean, they require you to have it. Why does my credit worthiness have anything to do with something that you require me to have? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I was able to get a license, so I was able to get a car. So why do I?
Something else.
I have to have it. So
yeah, I feel like you're giving me I'm getting two punishments, because I already got punished
with the financing. Yeah.
With the say I had insurance with this company and they raised my. Okay, that was a mistake I made with them. So now when I'm with you, you give me a hiring because of my past. Well, you don't know if I've became a better driver, a better homeowner. So you're basically punishing me again for something like you don't. Well,
I mean, I can understand that, because I mean it's normally a 3 to 5 year window, but
tickets stay on.
No,
they go back with tickets 7 years.
No, they only hold it at 5. I think it's 3 to 5 years. But my thing is your credit, right? The credit is what honestly messes you up, because let's say you went through a hard patch, you got laid off from your job, you were late on some bills. Well, those recent derogatories mess up your credit more than something that happened 5 years ago, right? But all it was is that, you got really sick, you didn't have a job that gave you some type of security like a union, and now you're out on your luck. You have to find another job.
Gentlemen, what about sorry to cut you off. What about the double standard of it's okay for here, but not okay for here?
And that's
what about the standard? What about the fact that we'll bend the rules here, but we're going to enforce them 100% here?
That's one of the things that I used to get highly upset over. It was the disparity between cocaine possession and crack possession, and even the disparity to this day with marijuana possession amongst blacks and Latinos versus white America.
That's your boy Crime Bill.
Yeah, so we get locked up 8 times more likely for possession of weed than white Americans do.
But also with like the credit and all of that, I still think it's you punishing me again, because how are you judging me for something I did when I was 20? How can you say I'm going to handle credit or paying this off the same way when I'm 30? You understand you develop as a person, as a man, as a woman. Well, how many chances would you want if the shoe was on the other foot? Would you want me to judge you for your 21-year-old self handling the credit card? Would you want me to judge you the same way when you're 30 now seeking a different credit card? I just don't think it's okay.
The worst part about it is if you don't have a credit card in America, your credit will never really get above 650.
Right.
So you have to have a credit card.
You got to go in debt.
You got to be in. You got to create yourself availability to be in debt in order for you to get anything above a 700, 720.
I'll say this. When you look at it, Plies' song, I think he did created a great dichotomy with convicted felon on one hand and a convicted felon on the other hand, right? Mm-hmm. It also goes hand in hand with what kind of access you have here in America.
Yeah.
Right. So if I have enough access, right, I have enough money to beat this charge, this, that, and the other things of that nature, right? I can create opportunities for myself and things of that nature. So that felon may not matter as much to somebody with $100 million than somebody with $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's going to be fees associated with it, things of that nature. Going back to debt, you're going to get more and more in debt and things of that nature. But it comes from the type of society we are, which is an individualistic society, right? Most other countries are collectivism. They believe in helping each other, right? They believe in the community supplying for things of their nature. They believe in restitution, as you were talking about. This person has grown. This person has done this. They've done that. And we're more individualistic, so therefore we want everything for ourselves. So when you get the insurance company, they're just trying to get some more money, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at a convicted felon on one hand and the other, they still just want to do what? Run for president at this particular time, right? Right. That's what I want to do. So therefore, I'm going to push some things. I'm going to say some things. I'm going to grease the right hands and things of that nature to make this more conducive. But we don't look at the effects of that, right? We're just looking at it for myself at that particular time. But what are the effects of it 5-10 years down the line when you give somebody that type of authority, right? When you pass laws that immunes presidents from this, that, and the other, it opens the door for all of us to say, blanket, I'm going to take everything in my own hands and I'm not going to abide by any rules, right? Mm-hmm. So until we get a handle on that and come in a little bit more on the collective side, I think individualistic mindsets and thinkings are great because I think everybody should be an individual, but we all got to come to the table at some point and do what's best for the country.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to cut that right there. We had some more we had to get it. We were going to try to get into, but we'll save it for next week because we have to get into this last one, this last topic. So we're going to say this for next week. And we just get you ready for it's called the 2025 Project 2025.
Oh, yeah. We need to get into that.
We got to get into that. And, if you haven't heard of it, start Googling now because this is going to.
And if you like reading, it's 920 pages.
Ask Google, ask Siri.
Don't pay for the book. Don't buy the book.
Don't buy the book.
Don't give them. They have free
just
PDF
go on Wikipedia and get you a quick overview.
But we're gonna get into that. but we're gonna get into that next week. Okay. Now, remember, as I've said before, like, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, all that good stuff. Do that for us because that'll help us continue to bring you more content. Better content, okay? Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend, all right? If you got any questions, we still have the segment Ask a Brother. So come on, ask us some questions. Give us some questions. I know you got something you want to ask these gentlemen on the panel. Right. It could be about anything, okay? Keep it PG though, okay? All right. Email us ltbspodcast@yahoo.com. All right. And in the meantime, be blessed, be safe, and we will see you all next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace, everybody.
Let the brother speak.